Welcome to The Digital Chair by salonMonster, a podcast for indie beauty pros and salon owners who'd rather be themselves than follow the rules. I'm your host, Liam, and this week we'll be talking with Ricardo, aka Kerp Barber, about turning repetition, fundamentals, and humility into a lasting barbering career. I hope you enjoy it. Fantastic. We are on. All right, so I am here with Ricardo, aka Kerp Barber of Kerp Salon, owner and operator. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely.
I expected thing. I never thought. First of all, I didn't know you have a podcast.
Yep.
And when you asked me, I just right away was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Why not? Right? I love talking shop with people for endless hours. Well, usually I just start with, do you want to do just like the world's quickest introduction of yourself and just tell us who you are, what you do, etc.
Yeah, I'll try to make it short. I don't know what questions are you going to ask me later, so I might repeat myself.
Don't worry about it.
So what? As you say, my name is Ricardo, aka Kerp Barber. I'm from Spain and came here about 11 years ago, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And almost right away, I started working at London school as a teacher.
Yep.
And I came here first as a full-time photographer. I was
Yep.
kind of taking a break from cutting hair, from being behind the chair. And the education just brought my passion back, to be honest.
I love it.
I went from the routine, you know how the routine is, just being behind the chair. And being behind the chair here, at least my experience is not being behind the chair in Spain. So you have to cut at least somewhere between 18, 20 people a day to make it for a living. If you cut like 12 or 14 people in a day, you're losing money, basically. You don't make it. So minimum, I would say 16, 18 a day. So that's crazy, Monday to Saturday. So that's why I took a little break, right? The time between moving from Spain to here, and teaching was just changed my perspective, brought my passion back, and it made me question all my skills. Again, because you have to go back to basics in order to teach, right? And so I worked there for, let me remember, around 4 years, and then working part-time in another barbershop. It was called back then Sigma Barbershop.
Yep.
It was a brand new shop, and I was managing that for 3 years until I opened my shop.
Yeah.
I took over of a previous hair salon in the same area, and that was in 2019. So I was quite excited. I didn't have in mind opening another shop.
Yep.
Having employees and all that headache, and and then pandemic happened a few months later. So
man, that's a heck of a time to open a shop, man.
Yeah, that was quite crazy.
Yeah.
But here we are, still surviving. But it took us 3 years to see the light. Probably we're gonna go through that later.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget to tell people that I'm based out of Vancouver, BC in Canada, and you're in Vancouver as well. I first heard about you, I believe, through Rodney. You taught classes? Did you teach some classes that Rodney would send people to at one point, or am I wrong? Or was it just talking about?
You're exactly right. I've done several workshops at the Fine Edge, his shop. And he sends me a lot of people. Every time somebody asks for education, he doesn't hesitate, mentioning my name. And, I don't know if he probably mentions other people, but yeah, it's a lot of, I don't know, I would say 75% of people, that I've been educated, either one-to-one or workshops, has been through. I have to say, like, Rodney has been a huge help. Me since the beginning. He helped me. We connected very quickly, because he was the distributor for London school, and we connected very quickly. We worked together. I did a lot of photography for the products, for the catalogs and all that stuff in the very beginning. And we started connecting from there. And I mean, he's been a huge help. But part of what I am today is thanks to him, I have to say.
Me too. I'm a big fan of Rodney's. He's the, I think one of us said, he's the owner of Fine Edge Barber Supply here in Vancouver and across the Lower Mainland, and just a fantastic human being and advocate of good people. So I love him for that. Yeah. So how did you start doing hair? How did that begin?
Oh, you want to go that back?
Well, I just even for a moment, I always love hearing there's so many different ways people end up in the industry. It's so rarely direct. Some people are direct, but quite often people are indirect. But I just like hearing how everyone started.
Yeah, well, obviously this is started, like before internet era, right? I mean, internet didn't exist. I mean, we didn't have internet where we could see, YouTube videos, and a lot of people, start from there, watching YouTube videos. Oh, maybe I can cut my own hair. Oh, maybe I can cut somebody's hair. I'm going to learn from YouTube.
Yeah.
And they can get like an amazing information very quickly, right? So pretty much I started cutting my own hair because my dad, he refused to give me money every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. That's what I was requesting, to have a clean haircut. I was like back then like at 15 or 16 years old. And you know how that is, you want to look already nice. And I'm not giving you money every 2 weeks. My family, we were more like a low class. So the money was just for the essentials, right?
Yep. You and me both. Yep.
Yeah. So with all the money I had left, from the weekends, from going to the theater, to the arcade and all that stuff, I decided to buy like a little trimmers, not even clippers, like a little trimmers. And I started cutting my own hair, right? And eventually that translated to cutting somebody's hair, a friend of mine. And I remember, he said, "Oh, can you cut my hair? Because you're doing pretty well on yourself." He's like, "Sure, come to my house." And I cut him. And then another friend, "Oh, wow, that's so cool. Can you do my hair?" So eventually, in less than a year, I was cutting all my friends' hair in a park because, at home, my parents went, "Stop bringing people here every day." So I was in a park cutting them. And since I was a horrible student, so my parents suggested, "Hey, why you don't, why you don't get a proper education if you think you like it and you can do this as a career, just go for it." So that's what I did. I just joined a year later, a hair school. I was already 17, almost 18, and the program was 6 months. I took a year, more advanced stuff. And before I finished the school, I was working as an apprentice already in one of the school's owner hair salon. And yeah, that's how I started, and I haven't stopped. And that was already when I started working as an apprentice. That was 1996 already.
Okay.
So I was cutting hair for a year and a half before that. So cutting hair technically 31, almost 32 years. Knowing what I'm doing, more like a 30 since the 1996, more or less. And I never stopped since then. Only those kind of 6 months break that I took when I came here. But other than that, that's pretty much 3 decades compressed in a few minutes.
I hear you. I think I started my apprenticeship January 99. Yeah. I mean, it was it's so interesting seeing how people, you can access people in such a different way than when you and I started. It was about being in a location and street traffic and hustling. It's still about hustling, but it was only hustling then. There was no posting on social media or, just your photography only mattered in a couple of competitions, and there were so few that cared about photography. Most of them were live. It's such an interesting time to get an education now. So if you were starting now, let's imagine you're beginning your career now, and let's just say you're doing it here in Vancouver, what would you tell yourself? Is there a route you would suggest? Is there Yeah, like what would you tell somebody who comes up to you and says, I want to start doing hair like you? What should I do?
Oh my goodness, that's a tough one. I mean, today, for example, I can see people can learn. It's easier to learn a proper foundation than when I
Yep.
learned. When I learned, it was very, very straightforward. Um, but one thing, for example, that I had that I don't see today in any school,
Yep.
like it just doesn't exist. And sorry for the schools out there. I'm pretty sure
No,
they're doing a terrific job with what they can, But
some do.
I think they could do around a million times better, if they just focus on what it really matters. And what it really matters, besides all the knowledge, which obviously we need a foundation, is practice. And that's what the
Yeah.
schools don't have. They don't have enough practice. Let me give you an example. When I was in the hair school, okay, the hair school, it was an academy, but it was like obviously street level, and we had walk-ins every day. So we were giving every day maximum of 100 numbers, like in the market that you go
Yep.
to, you just pull out a number. So people were coming. Before we opened the school, we had a lineup already of 50 people every day. That was it was unisex, so it was women, men, whatever, and we already have I don't know. There was probably like a 40 grandmas, waiting out there, and maybe a few guys, but there was around 4 to 5 students of us doing barbering, only barbering, sometimes 3, sometimes 5, depending. And I remember I was cutting at least 5 or 6 people a day,
Right.
just myself.
Yeah.
Being a student, that's a lot, because you take over an hour and a half, even 2 hours sometimes. But with the help of the teacher, it helps you to speed up, right? So
Yeah.
you do the math in a year, from Monday to Friday, cutting 5 or 6 people a day.
Yeah.
You're gonna end up cutting, I don't remember now, but it's more than 1,000.
Yeah.
And on top of that, after I was finishing the school, I was getting home, and almost pretty much every day, I had a friend waiting for me at my place, or I was going to his house, and I was cutting hair. And I
Right.
promoted myself in the neighborhood, in the area. My dad was the building manager, and he knew all the managers around, right? So I was promoting myself, doing free haircuts to every single, building manager, families. Eventually, I started cutting some of the neighbors in the same building, just for free. Once I started getting more experience, I started charging like $5 or $6, whatever, something
Yeah.
symbolic. And so in a year, by the time I finished my education, before I started working professionally with a proper contract, I already cut about 1,500 people.
Yeah.
So my experience was equivalent to somebody cutting hair for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
When my knowledge maybe
At
was
least.
at least.
I mean, at the beginning, like in my apprenticeship I did, we had a weekly cutting class. I could do hair on my free time if I wanted, and there was always like a mannequin head I could practice on, but haircuts I was doing 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. So that's awesome that you were doing that.
And maybe I didn't have the same knowledge that people can have today when they start, thanks to social media, more education. Before, there was zero education in barbering. I'm not talking about from time to time. I'm talking about zero. There
Yeah.
was only hairdressing, for females, but
Yeah.
that was all. And I had to learn those things, and maybe try to translate those techniques into the shorter hair.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to figure out what to do, what not to do. Oh my God, why my haircut look today like this? Maybe, what if I do this next time? What if I do that next time? And that's
Yeah.
pretty much how I learned myself, because nobody was giving you a hand with anything. So if I had to start over again, if I had to give an advice, is that practice as much as you can. Cutting
Yeah.
one person a day, it's not enough. It's gonna take forever. It's gonna kill your passion. That thirsty that we have in the beginning, you have to cut at least 3, 4, 5 people a day,
Yeah.
if you can. That would be my advice. And combining with the knowledge that people get today, learning proper graduation, layering, blah blah. Never heard of those words. Maybe after 15 years of my career, I hear for first time graduation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but I was doing it without knowing.
I'm sure you knew what it was if it was described to you, but you probably didn't know it had a name or was a thing.
Yeah, and actually, the second hair salon I worked to, I was managing the barbershop. I had a year and a half of not even 2 years experience between the hair school and the first hair salon that I spent only like 8 months working, and and every time I was calling to somebody, the ads were on the newspaper, right? So I was calling on the newspaper, and I was like, how much experience do you have? And I was like, well, a year and a half, almost 2 years, and they were like, okay, we'll call you back. Nobody was calling me back, so I was like, no, I wanted to see me cutting because I know I have my skills are more, better than my time. I started saying I have 4 years or 5 years experience. So they started calling me. Three barbershops called me. I did the test, and the three of them just hired me right away. They're like, yeah,
That's
when do you
awesome.
want to start? And I just picked the one that I like the most. So that's why, I'm the living proof of the experience is 100% your best teacher, always.
Yeah.
And you have the knowledge and the theory behind, it's even better, right? Understanding is going to come later after the practice.
Yeah. It's it's so unfortunate because the way school tends to work, and this isn't a knock on schools specifically, schools like this in general. I mean, hair schools are what, 6, 9, maybe 12 months? Like maybe 12 months? Which is enough time to figure out how not to kill people and cut off their ears and burn people and a couple of things. And then the onus is sort of placed on salon owners to continue the education process, but it's so hard financially to survive as a salon right now. So to choose to take a student straight out of hair school and put them on the floor when you're going to have to put in a whole bunch of work, time, effort, and they won't really make any money, and they won't come with the clientele, and you have to teach them to hustle. It's really difficult. I wish more of that happened at the school level. Like you're saying, I wish more repetition happened at the school level. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know how that would get changed, but it would be great if people could do 1,000 haircuts before they went and worked at the salon. I mean,
that's what speeded up, my skills and the confidence. The confidence, that's the most important. When you have somebody whose hands are shaking when he's doing a simple horseshoe section, and the client goes like, "Oh, is this your first time? Your first haircut?" No, just my second.
Yeah. I've done this before one time. Yeah.
So yeah, it's I think that's something they have to work on. And I remember I talked to one of the schools that they changed their management, and I had a video interview with them, and she was asking me, I don't know if you want me to mention the school or we just keep it.
No, don't worry about it. Just tell me the story.
Okay, and then and she was asking me, okay, I'm now managing this. What do you think we should change or we could do better? And I was like, okay, can I speak? Freely. It's like, yeah, go ahead. And it's like, well, two things. One, you guys need more practice. You have to put those students, three things actually. More practice every day. You have to force them to either bring clients, and you guys have to do more effort, more advertisement to bring clients for them. Because not everybody can find 3 people a day, and working hours is not that easy. Maybe you can bring a model from time to time, but you guys have to do a better job for that. Second, discipline. I've been teaching there as well from time to time, and you're explaining something that they have no clue what you're talking about, and some of them are on their phones.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That should be like literally not allowed. You're not allowed to pull out your phone or just leave the phone, somewhere else.
Yeah, it's school. It's school. Just put it down. Put it away. Pay attention.
If you want to take notes, just take a paper and a pencil and take notes. And
yeah,
if you don't want to be that strict, okay, you're allowed to pull out your phone just to film or something, or you want to take notes. But most of the times we know what they're doing, right? And the third one, I don't really understand how somebody it's already using clippers or is already doing something more advanced when they don't even know how to do this with the.
I know.
You know what I mean? And then I see
Yes.
people just doing like this, and with the scissors in the wrong position, they're chopping the hair. It's something that is the foundation of hairstyling and barbering, like of hair cutting.
Yeah.
Scissors overcome for barbers, and the movement, the proper movement of the scissors. I can't understand how somebody can go move forward without having that clear. So
Yeah.
so
I did a
yeah.
2-year apprenticeship, and it wasn't till close to the end of the second year that I was allowed to pick up clippers. Like there was no, I had to learn scissor over comb. There were 2 or 3 people at the shop I was at that were really good at it. I had to learn it. Later on, I got into clippers more, especially as barbering rolled back in here as an actual like fashion thing. Like people were wanting to go to barbershops again, not just hair salons. I started doing more clipper work. But yeah, I cut my teeth on, having several people that came every 2 weeks for as tight a scissor over comb haircut as I was capable of cutting. I mean, it hurt. After, right? My hand was sore. And I wish I'd been taught to use left-handed scissors at the beginning, but that's what I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a junior at the shop right now that I just hired recently. It's a kind of like more advanced junior, but she has the wrong habit with the scissors because
Yeah.
nobody told her, you have to move in this way. What are you doing? That's why when you're doing scissors overcome, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's choppy. Your scissors are not steady enough. And then when I told her the proper position, and then the first thing she said, "Oh, it hurts." And I said, "So what?"
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
just practice until
Well, got to build new muscle memory. It'll be fine eventually. Yeah, it's a new movement. It's going to be uncomfortable.
I can guarantee to anyone, if you and I mean I've done this with so many students. You take your scissors, you practice at home when you're watching TV, when you're walking around. I know it sounds stupid. Yeah, just keep it on the lap and just move the fingers, move around. In 10 days, you create the muscle memory. 10 days,
Yeah.
not a month, not 8 months, not 5 years. In 10 days, you get the muscle memory.
Yeah.
100% guaranteed. But you have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to do that. And yeah, it's simple as that. But yeah, I don't know.
That's so great. No, I mean, one of the things that happened to me at the beginning was I'm left-handed, but no one at the shop I was at knew I was left-handed, so they bought me right-handed scissors.
Okay.
And so, and it was hard to get left-handed scissors at the time, and I didn't have any money. I couldn't buy a pair of scissors. So I had to learn to use right-handed scissors in my left hand.
Oh my
And
God.
the problem with that is when you're using the scissors that are right for your hand, if you pull, it closes the blades.
Yeah.
When you're using the opposite, you have to push to close the blades and pull here. So I actually couldn't learn to do this. I had to do this because it required a death grip to hold the blades together and not have the hair fold in it.
So the wise opens the blades and just bends the hair, right?
Yeah, so I have to push with my thumb and pull with my fingers. And I did that for almost 15 years before I finally sort of worked up the courage to buy left-handed scissors and figure it out, because it was a lot. Yes, so learning to use the right tools and learning to just the repetition at the beginning is so important. At what point did you so when you were starting actually charging, like you're working at a barbershop now, you're charging money, were you just fully confident at that point? Were you feeling good?
No.
Or do you still feel thrown into it?
It's a weird feeling, right? It goes up and down. So my experience for myself and what I see out there,
Yep.
the less you know, the more you think you know. And
Yes.
the more experience you have, the more you're aware how far you are from where you want to be. Regardless if you're there already or not, it's harder. You always compare yourself with people that are better than you, and then you start thinking, "Oh my goodness, I have no clue how to do that. Oh, I want to learn that." And then you create this hunger, to learn more. In the very beginning, when you don't have much experience, you start thinking you're better than what you actually are, and you start
Yeah.
thinking you're better than everybody around you, and that was what happened in the beginning. In the beginning, I was, oh wow, I'm working in this hair salon. The first two hair salons I worked, they were like high end hair salons and rich neighborhoods. So that gives you, like it boosts your ego a lot, because you're there and all your clients come and they leave happy and until sometimes the boss comes around and he tells you, well, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, what do you mean? It's like, what was that? It's like, that was a great haircut. It's like, no, it wasn't. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. And it's like, oh, okay. I remember, let me tell you a quick story. I remember I was cutting this client and he was my boss's loyal client, like a regular client. My boss back in the 70s, he was a world champion for 2 or 3 times or something like that. I mean, I wasn't even born. I was born in '76, but before that, he was a very well known barber, cutting the royal family, ministers, politicians. He was a big guy, and he was very intimidating. When he was coming into the shop, it was like a Darth Vader was getting inside the shop. And I remember I was cutting his client. That was a lot of pressure, and then he came in and I was like, oh my goodness. And then he was behind me talking to his client, through the mirror, and I was just cutting. And after I finished, when I thought I was finished, then he just whispered to me, "Is like, are you gonna clean that up or what? Or are you just gonna leave it like that?" And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. I thought I was done. I thought it looks clean, and I don't know what he's talking about. So I just pretended to do something. I don't know. I pretended to do something, and then I look at the mirror through the mirror, and he was just staring at me, kind of like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what he means. So I pretended to do something, just fooling myself because I'm not gonna fool him. And
Right.
and then when I finished, the client didn't even look like, yeah, that's great. I tried you. It's okay. Super nice guy. And when he left, I was just, hey, I don't know what you were saying. He's like, yeah, and then he explained to me, you use thinning shaders, you have to clean that up after, because that hair is gonna grow back super frizzy. You have to clean that up. It's a classic haircut, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah. But I was just freaking out, and that made me feel like okay, this humbled down again
Yeah.
for several months. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Until somehow that ego comes back again, and then somebody proves you that you're just nothing, right? Still.
Yeah.
And I opened my barber shop after 6 years, almost 7 years. No, 7 years. After 7 years cutting, and I was freaking out. To be honest, I was freaking out, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for that.
You were talking about, um, you know, being humble, but particularly that phase that happens to, I think, lots of people when we're young, where we think we know everything. It's like the younger you are, the more you know, and the older you get, the more you realize you don't know. I know when I left home, one of the 2 books my mom handed me as I was leaving was called Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, and I think it was by someone named Shunryu Suzuki. And the whole concept of the book was, if you approach everything as if you know all of it, you'll learn nothing. And if you approach everything as if you know nothing, you're open to learn everything. So if you have that childlike approach where you just, I don't know any of this, tell me everything, start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Even if you do know a bunch, you will learn so much more. Whereas, like you were saying, if you're acting all cocky, like you know everything, and speeding through things and being all cool, and then you have somebody come up and smack you upside the head and remind you, yeah, you're not as good as you think you are at it. I think it's such an important point in hopefully most people's careers. I don't know if everybody has that moment or has the right person who can kind of bring you down a notch without destroying you. Like, you can also destroy a person permanently, right? You can make them never have confidence again.
Absolutely.
Like, you can say you're doing it wrong. If you don't show the person what right is, or put them in the position to show themselves, it doesn't work as well. what drew you to education then? Is that kind of a concept? Is understanding that about your process and your learning? Is that one of the things that drew you to education, to teaching?
No, not at all.
No.
That
Okay.
happened by accident. So,
Okay. Do tell.
you remember when I said in the beginning, I came and I was doing photography full time, and
Yep.
then I saw an ad on Craigslist from a place called London School, the school
Yep.
that I mentioned before, and then they were looking for a photographer for the Battle of the Barbers, right? They were doing the Battle
Oh
of the
yeah.
Barbers.
Yeah.
And then they were looking at a photographer, and I was like, oh, you know what? I know hair. I do photography. I think that can be fun. There were no paying. Was that I don't care. It's okay. So I emailed them. It's like, hey, I've been cutting hair back then for 20 years, and so I know where to shoot. I know I know about this, and I think it would be a good experience, for me, and I think I can do a good job for you guys. And they just emailed me back right away. Yeah, I think you would be a right fit for that. So I met Martin, Carrie, everybody, and I did the job. And a week later, they called me, and it's like, hey, Ricardo, is like, yeah, is everything okay? Is the photos are okay? It's like, yeah, nothing to do with that. It's like, we're looking for teachers. Will you teach? Will you be a teacher? And I was like, I don't know if I can teach. And it's like, I mean, you've been cutting here for 20 years. I remember talking to Martin, and it's like, well, I mean, you know that not because you know something, it means you know how to transmit, how to teach, that thing that you know. Sometimes we just get in automatic mode and we keep going forever, but that doesn't mean that, first of all, you fully and truly understand what you're doing. You just know it works, and your clients come back. That's never a proof that you're doing things right. You just found people that value what you're doing, and they still can do things wrong. And even if what I'm doing is right, I don't even know if I can teach it. And even further, English is not my first language. I don't even know how to teach this in Spanish. So I imagine in English. So it's like, no, you'll be fine. Your English is good enough. And it's like, you want to come and do a test? And it's like, can you give me a week? And it's like, sure. So then I put an ad. I was doing free haircuts for that week, just to get my skills back.
Yeah.
So
oh right, because you hadn't even been doing hair for 6 months or longer.
Exactly. For around 6 months, I didn't cut hair, and I mean, you get rusty, you get back to it quickly, but you still need to.
Oh yeah, 2 or 3 months, and it feels weird,
Exactly.
like yeah.
You go on vacation for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and when you come back the first day, everything hurts.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then what I did after, I I started watching all the YouTube tutorials, as many as I could, and I was with a notebook and a pen, literally and physically writing down sentences. So when I was this barber saying, yeah, and then you flick out, I need a whole sentence in Spanish to explain the flick movement.
Right.
He was like, oh, flick. Oh, okay, that's cool. And I was writing that. And then
that is not the first word you learn when you're working on a second language. Flick is not high upon the list
definitely not. And C motion and blah blah. And scissors-over-comb is like, oh, okay. I mean, that's literally scissors-over-comb, but I would never think of, combining those words. And so I started learning all the terminology, even full sentences, like repeating like a parrot over and over. So then when I did the the test, what is it called? The test, whatever.
Yep.
Everybody, teachers included, were watching me. There was like 35 people watching me, and I was shaking, like,
no doubt, no pressure.
Oh my goodness. And I had to break down what I was doing, right? So then it was like, yeah, and then you do this flick, you do the C motion, and then you grab this in graduation, blah, blah, blah. So I started repeating all the sentences, and the boss, Martin, told me, you see, your English is good enough. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you understand what I did over the last week. Yes.
That's what I've been through. So I got the job right away. And yeah, and that just,
yeah,
me going and going and going. And every year I try to upgrade my skills as much as possible. So I'm doing 2 courses online. Last year I went to San Diego with DJ Muldoon, to get a one-to-one lesson with him. A lot of money, but I see that as an investment, never as an expense. And every time I have the opportunity, I do that. A few years ago when I went to visit my family in Spain, I just flew to London. I went to Menspire and I got some classes there as well.
Yeah.
So every time I have the opportunity, I put money, in on education.
Yeah.
So that way I can learn more, I can keep my passion, and I can pass that information to others. And at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, it's you can make extra money,
Sure.
because I do this for a living, obviously. So
Yeah. But
yeah.
it's great. It's amazing. Really, I mean, the internet and social media and Instagram and YouTube and everything changed lots, but COVID really sped things up. I found like that 3 months, everybody, or less or more, depending on where people were, those few months where everybody was just at home. So the switch to not just digital education, but suddenly having access to educators all over the world. It used to be either somebody came to your town, which mostly they didn't, like unless you lived in LA or New York or London, they didn't come to your town. They weren't at your hair show. You really couldn't. You could go to academies. Like I could go to LA and go to Sassoon if I wanted, or you could go to London and go to Tony and Guy back in the day. But you didn't have access to the quantity of talented people, like you talked about DJ Muldoon. Now, I think I'm trying to remember. I know he taught at a school at one point, if he doesn't still. But that ability for DJ to become an independent educator is so great for people like yourself and myself. Like, 5-10 years ago, you couldn't just go to LA and take a one-off class with a person. Like that wasn't on the table as an option.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's so great for young people getting in the industry, both the online version. So if you can't afford to go somewhere, there's lots of stuff. And then the ability to, like, if you can get a one-on-one class, that must have been awesome. That DJ Muldoon class.
Yeah, that was crazy. I wanted to join the group class, but it was already booked up, and he takes okay, small groups, and I say, oh, how about a 1-on-1? And it's like, yeah, I have to travel the next few days. I don't know if I have time, blah blah. And then a few days later, the person who runs things for him told me, yeah, he could take you right the day after the class, and he can do a 1-to-1, but obviously 3 times more expensive, right?
Yeah.
But I said, you know what, let's do it, and yeah, I mean that was amazing. I previously in 2019 I went to Toronto to Viral Sassoon, and I mean you can see he was teacher, for a couple of decades if I remember well.
At Sassoon, yeah.
For Sassoon,
Yeah,
and
that's what I thought.
you can see he comes from there, but he simplifies so much that it's just night and day for me, and my approach, my vision, the way I understand hair, it's night and day since last year.
Yeah.
So I feel like a baby again, and relearning everything again and questioning myself. Okay, why I'm doing this? What am I doing this for? Yeah, let me try. What he said, and I my approach is completely different. Just with one class, 1 day class. I mean, that was 7 hours non-stopping in the morning, from 9 to 5 non-stopping. Cutting hair on the mannequin over and over. So yeah, that was. So
it's
imagine
amazing.
if we spend 10 days with him or something.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, in fact, I found one class I took, I don't know, 2018 maybe. I went down to Portland and took a class with someone named Jane, who teaches straight razor cutting, and it was just so life altering to incorporate what felt like a new skill set into my tool belt. I love it. Okay, so get as much repetition as you can at the beginning of your career. Well, any point.
Yeah, any point. Yeah, but at the beginning, it's definitely needed.
Get advanced education and know that you don't know everything and be humble. I feel like that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's meant for. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, tell me what, before we wrap up here, tell me what's next. What have you got going on? What, are you, are you teaching any classes coming up? What's happening with the shop? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, okay. So I keep doing education because
Yep.
London school. I mean, I left the London school to open my shop, and I do private education now. I do workshops when that happens. Um, we've been doing, fine edge, some education as well. I did
Yep.
a workshop as well, and Sukis as well. When things like that happen, I try my best. Some people from other towns, in BC, smaller towns, they call me. I go. And, I mean, it doesn't happen that often. It's not like I'm a big celebrity or anything, but I know a lot of people. Most of them are former students, and
Yep.
hey, will you come here to the education for us? And sure, and they fly me over, and I'm happy to do it.
That's great.
And I'm doing one-to-one as well.
Yep.
Right now, I have a few people. I'm doing one-to-one, and yeah, the shop where we are is gonna come to an end because we have to leave the place. It's gonna be they're gonna just build a hotel there, so they're gonna demolish the building this year. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, we have to go. It's been exhausting looking for a place. Been looking
Yeah.
for over a year. Everything is extremely expensive, small, expensive. Nothing happens on time. The bureaucracy makes things even harder,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't go too far from where we are. Or actually, we don't want to go too far
Yeah.
from where we are. We don't want to start over. I just turned 50, and I don't think I have energy to start over from scratch in another area, in another neighborhood. Same thing with the Terrentos I have. They've been cutting in the area for over 20 years, and I want them to come with me. And we found a place that we're just doing the paperwork right now, and don't know what's gonna happen. No far, it's in Gastown area, so pretty
Yep.
close from where we are.
Awesome.
And hopefully, fingers
Yeah.
crossed. So
A
yeah,
big
my
group.
idea is to
Fingers
keep going with
crossed to everybody.
yeah. My idea is to keep going with education. Hopefully, if we take over to that place, it has a space where I can gather, largest group of people. Um, and yeah, so that's pretty much my next goal, to settle somewhere else and to keep going with education.
Love it.
Maybe my goal is to step back from behind the chair, one, instead of cutting 5 days, maybe 4 days, to
Yep.
put in the other time, on education, because
Love
right
it.
now I have only Sundays and Mondays, but I want to have a life as well. So
It's
if
nice.
I can dedicate one day, 1 or 2 days for education, that will be great. I don't have to take it, and maybe not taking even more new clients, just keeping the clientele I have,
Yeah.
and putting the rest on education. That's my next goal. And yeah, and having the right people and team around me, for me, that's extremely important.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another full-time job. So
It sure is. I love it. Well, how can people find you if somebody wants to come and get education, or they want to come see you for a fantastic haircut, which I got from you just a couple of weeks ago? One of the best
thank you very
haircuts
much.
I've ever had. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
The best way and the fastest way, I would say, is through Instagram.
Yep.
So that's Kerp Barber
Yep.
on Instagram.
I love it.
Email works as well. kerpbarber76@gmail.com.
Okay.
But probably, yeah, I don't care. Email, Instagram, it doesn't
Love
matter.
it. We'll link that stuff in the comments somewhere when it's, if this is found in clips anywhere. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, Ricardo. I really appreciate you doing this.
This was great. It brought me back memories. So
Right? I love Memory Lane.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun place.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah. Let's do it again soon.
Okay, absolutely.
Take care.
Okay. Take care, guys. Okay. Bye-bye, Liam.